20 minutes of power.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Top Monday Nights, 30 Minutes of Power. We are going to clean up some house before we get started. Please make sure your mic is on mute so that way the person that is presenting is not disturbed by any background noises. Also, in order for us to get the most out of our session, there are 3 things that we want everyone to know and 3 things that we want to make sure that you believe. The first one is Jesus is our Savior. You can put a thumbs up in the chat if you like. You can clap your hands so that I can see. I don't have to hear noises. The second is Jesus died for our sins. And the last is we can do all things through him. And now I would like to introduce someone very special in my life, very dear to my heart. Oh my goodness, there's just so much to say about her. I don't even know where to begin. Her name is Jory O'Neill, although I didn't meet her that way. But her name is Jory O'Neill. She is a mom. She is a wife. She is a God-fearing woman. And she has some really, really cool content for us today. So get your pens, get your paper, and get ready to be life changed. Get ready for your life to be changed in the best way it can be changed. Jory, where are you?
I am here, friend. I am here. Thank you so much for that incredible introduction. We forgot our mantra. We got to say our mantra.
Sure did.
Yeah.
We are powerful beings. Everybody can repeat after me. We can come off.
So you're going to unmute. You're going to unmute for this. So this is how we're going to kick off each time that we meet moving forward. We're just going to say some affirming statements. All right. So one of the affirmations that Nicole and I came up with, actually it was Nicole, but I ran with it because it was dope. Anything that's dope, I run with it because it just makes sense. So if you were here last week, I think, Veronica, you were here with us last week, then you might remember what we did last week. So we are going to start by saying the first part. You're going to say the first part with us, and then we're going to say the second part. You're going to say the second part, and then we're going to try to say it all together. Okay, so Nicole, would you mind to start us off with the beginning part of our affirming mantra?
Yes. I am a powerful being.
You would come off, you unmute, and you would say, I am a powerful being, if you're able to unmute.
Okay. I am a powerful being.
Yeah, I love that. Kitty's voice in the back. That's right. Start them young.
And will use my power to empower others.
And will use my power to empower others.
And will use my power to empower others.
Yes. Love it. Yes, I feel like I hear my Ava and my Isaac in the background. Wonderful, wonderful. So thank you so much, Nicole, for that beautiful introduction. Yes, we are powerful beings, and we are going to use our power to empower others. Ladies, I hope this evening's message helps you further your journey and kind of flip a switch in your minds in terms of the way that you receive critical feedback or feedback of any sort. So tonight we're going to talk about falling in love with feedback. Show of hands. How many of you like to be criticized? Nah, not so much. Okay. How many of you hate being criticized? Yeah, I feel you. So how many of you can remember receiving, criticism maybe in your childhood, right? From a parent, teacher, a friend, someone else really close to you, right? And at the time, maybe that criticism hurt. And maybe even now it still stings when you think about it. Okay. And so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to flip the switch on the way that criticism hits us. So instead of it being something that we have negative feelings surrounding, right? We're going to flip the switch now. And we're going to fall in love with that feedback because we're going to find out how to sift through some of the feelings and get to the real meat. All right. Because I honestly believe in every piece of feedback given, there is some truth. When we take away the way that it was said, maybe the person who said it, maybe their role in our lives, right? When we strip all that stuff away, I honestly feel like God is trying to share with us something that will help shift us, change us, and move us closer to the person he desires for us to be. Okay, so I'm gonna start things off this way. We're gonna look at two ways that we can deal with criticism. Okay, so the first one is we can react to criticism. Okay, so reacting to criticism looks more like downtrodden face. Maybe we get in our feelings. Maybe we become a little introverted. We shut down, right? Sometimes it makes us withdrawn. Maybe we don't want to engage in anything with that person anymore, right? Maybe we want to avoid that situation. And so the second way to respond or to deal with criticism is actually to respond to it, right? So criticism is just another form of outside stimuli. And if we figure out how to deal properly with that outside stimuli, it hits a lot different. All right. So for example, I have a friend. She's pretty straightforward individual. I thought I was straightforward, but this chick takes the cake. I'm gonna be honest with you. So I had a friend and she asked me to do an event for her, part of an event planning company, one of my many companies that I do way too much. I don't even know what time I sleep, but at some point it does happen. I do sleep, people. I do sleep. But she asked me to do an event for her. I was like, all right, bet. She told me what she wanted. She sent me like 4 or 5 like messages on what it should look like and what it should sound like and experience people should have. And honestly, I was getting a little annoyed because I was like, I can't do any of that. Like what you're asking me for, I cannot provide. You know what I mean? So I started feeling a little insecure, started feeling like, man, like I can't do that. And so after a while, I was like, wait, can I do that? I'm not sure. So instead of taking it as something that was negative towards me or seeing it as like, oh man, I can't do this, I flipped it. And I was like, oh, this is like a challenge. I was like, all right, bet. Let me figure out how to do this. Right. And so when we receive things that maybe sometimes create this little gap, right, between what we feel like we can do or what we feel like we should be, and maybe what we believe that we're at, right, or maybe what this person is saying or seeing in us, when we take away all the emotions, like it's quite possible that maybe this person is put there specifically to edge us on, right? To encourage us, to motivate us, to spur us on, even though they might do a really horrible job of it, honestly. Like it might be a hot mess. The way that they say it might not be very pleasing to our ears. But at the end of the day, we have to figure out, okay, well, what is God trying to tell me through all this? Because again, the whole intent and the whole purpose of everything that we do is honestly to bring glory to God. Everything, every decision that we make, even the things that aren't in our control, the way we respond to them are a direct result of our relationship with God. And so tonight, my goal is to give you some scriptures, to give you some practicals. So the next time that you receive criticism, because it's going to happen, right? No matter if you stand in your house all day, every day, it's going to happen. From the children saying they don't like your chicken tenders to your husband maybe looking some way when you put on your favorite outfit that maybe doesn't fit the same way. When you're on a job, when you're in a grocery store and your kids falling out because you won't buy them their candy, right? It's going to happen. And so before it does, I'm going to hopefully give you some skills so that instead of you hating and running from criticism, you can fall in love with that feedback. All right. So let's talk about some consequences of not responding properly to criticism. Okay. So the Bible tells us Proverbs 15:32. All right. All the scriptures that we go to tonight are going to be in Proverbs because Solomon, this dude's a dope dude. He's the wisest guy who ever lived. And he has really, really incredible things to say about feedback, criticism, and wisdom. And so those are the 3 things we want to check out. So one of the first consequences of reacting negatively to criticism is a lack of fulfillment. All right. Proverbs 15:32 says, he who refuses instruction hates himself, but he who listens to reproof acquires understanding. A lot of times, some of the feedback that we're given, it doesn't fall in line with the way that we feel or the way that we see things. But at the end of the day, again, once we take out those emotions, we have to be able to see, okay, well, there's a gap. There's a gap here, and that gap is causing a little friction. And the way that we respond to that friction will, at the end, either help us understand where this person's maybe coming from, understand our positioning, or understand how we can get to the next position. Okay, so regardless of where that criticism sits for you, if you really try to wrestle with it through the emotions, it's going to help you understand. Okay, and that understanding might actually help you to receive more fulfillment than you're currently at. Second thing, all right? So Proverbs 29:1, it says that a man who remains stiff-necked after many rebukes will suddenly be destroyed without remedy. Sometimes if we don't respond properly to criticism, it leads to problems that can never be fixed. And those, more importantly, are in your relationships with others. Sometimes it's a broken friendship. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's a broken relationship, maybe marital, right? Sometimes it's a family relationship. If we don't figure out ways to, again, get through those emotions and those hurt feelings of the feedback, it leads to destroyed relationships. Proverbs 13:18. Solomon writes in the Proverbs that poverty and shame will come to him who neglects discipline, but he who regards reproof, and every time we use this word or see this word reproof, basically means correction. Okay, he who regards correction, he who regards criticism, he who regards feedback will be honored. Okay, so some of us, unfortunately, are sitting in the financial state that we're in because we didn't listen to sound advice financially. Maybe it's a spouse telling us we spend too much. Maybe it's an investor or a friend of ours who's maybe dibbling and dabbling in some stocks or, alternative forms of, what is this called? I know what it is. It is called, I can't think of it right now, which is horrible because I love to invest, but maybe I'm not supposed to be promoting that right now. I like it. I'm good with it.
Cryptocurrency?
Cryptocurrency. Yes, that voice from God, from heaven. I loved it. It was wonderful. Yes, thank you, Veronica. Cryptocurrency, right? So maybe there's a friend who was telling us about Bitcoin like 3 years ago. And we were like, nah, that sounds strange and weird. I've never heard of it. And now we're not millionaires because we never invested, right? And so heeding correction, heeding feedback, receiving that criticism from others, even if we don't understand it. Again, the second point, if we seek to understand it, past our maybe uneasiness about it, past our naivety, right? Not understanding what this person is talking about or the ins and outs of it. If we seek to find understanding, we can probably use this in individuals' feedback to help get us a little further ahead. And this last consequence of not responding properly to criticism and feedback. Proverbs is a banging book. If you ain't studied it out in a minute, I say go ahead and go for it because it got some nuggets in it. Proverbs 12:1, Solomon just straightforward. He's like, he who hates reproof is stupid. Just like, that's it, done, period. Like, so the fourth consequence is just you not knowing. Right? I don't like calling people stupid. I think it's rude, but not knowing, not understanding, not being able to grasp what is happening. Right? And as I said before, there are two ways to receive criticism and feedback. The first one is reacting to it. Right? And you hear that word reaction, usually there's an emotional connotation associated with it. And the second way is when we respond. So what does responding to criticism look like? Well, I'm glad that you asked. There are three ways that we can shift from reacting to responding to criticism. So hopefully you got a pen, piece of paper, go write them down. the end of this, I'm gonna go ahead and put in the notes section and in the chat a little document that's gonna have all these questions. So you can go ahead and if you're not able right now to write things down, you'll still be able to capture them later. Sit and kind of ask yourself some of these questions. Okay, the first way that we can sift ourselves and shift our mindset from reacting to responding is to consider the source. All right, is the person who's offering this criticism qualified? Their knowledge, their experience, their judgment, their expertise, are they qualified to make this observation? Are they qualified to give you feedback? Right? If you're a doctor and I come and I tell you, oh, the way that you handle that patient is improper, I'm straight with you. I'm not a doctor. I can't give you that proper feedback. Not for that. Right? I wear a lot of hats. Doctor ain't one of them. So is this person who's giving you this feedback, are they even qualified to give you the feedback? So before we get it all in our feelings and start feeling defensive and aggressive and, oh, no, I'm ready to fight. No, are they even qualified? Because if they're not, dismiss it. You good. Keep it moving. All right. The second one, you have to determine the validity of what they're saying. All right. And so that's what I mean. You have to get past those emotions. So say that they are qualified. All right. Well, is what they're saying valid? Just because maybe they know a little something about what they're talking about, it doesn't mean it's true. And so once you put that truth factor on some of the feedback that we receive, we see like that's nowhere near true. So I shouldn't even allow that to impact me at all, especially not negatively. Like, so, and sometimes, let's keep it a buck. Sometimes the person may be exaggerating with the intent of hurting you. So again, you got to determine the validity of what is being said. So even though it may not feel good, is it true? Right? And the last one, you got to take a beat. You got to take a beat. You have to stop before you react, before you get in your feelings, before you jump down someone's throat, before you begin pleading your case. Take a beat. Take what they're saying under consideration. All right. This person may know me. What they're saying possibly is true. All right. Now, what's my best response to what they're saying? Should I ask more questions? Should we get a little more details? Should I ask them for an example? Right? And so taking that beat prevents two things. One, it prevents us from getting within our feelings. Because I don't know about you, but when I get in my feelings, I'm not hearing you anymore. Ears are closed. Like, it's a wrap. I'm in fight or flight mode. And right now, my dukes is up and I'm ready to swing. Right? The other thing taking a beat does is it allows us time to put ourselves in a position to receive not just what they're saying, but maybe what God is trying to get us to understand through this person. When our defenses are up, our ears are closed, and our heart is closed also. So the next time someone gives you some feedback, take a breath, take a beat, pause. Is what they're saying true? Is the source valid? Do they have the expertise, the knowledge, to know how the experience to give me feedback or criticism in this area? And the last one, consider, all right, I've been praying about some things. Maybe this is God trying to tell me something. Let me look further into the matter. All right. And so with those three things, you can turn your reaction to criticism into your response, right? And at some point, right? So going back to the story about my homegirl, like, she asked me, could I do these things? I couldn't. It was a challenge. I felt insecure. I felt frustrated because I couldn't. But I'm happy to share with you right now that because of her feedback, because of her criticism, we flipped it. And now we actually have a couple more events to do because of the things that she had asked us that we couldn't do before. Now we're getting the hang of them things. So we're learning, we're growing. The business is expanding. So if I would have received her feedback off jump negatively, shut it down, we wouldn't have made the changes that we needed to. We wouldn't have spiced up the way that we promoted and marketed. We wouldn't have kind of shifted some of the things that we were doing when we did our events, right? And so my hope and my goal is that you take some time, right? Take some time and think about some of the opportunities that maybe have been missed opportunities for God to try to share with you, explain to you, and even direct you into something greater, right? So go back some experiences from your past and mentally apply those 3 keys, okay? Check the source, check the validity, and check yourself. All right, and hopefully with those 3 keys, you'll be able to go from fearing feedback to falling in love with it. Thank you all so much for your time. My name, Jory O'Neill. This is 30 Minutes of Power. You've been dope. Have a great one.
30 minutes of power.